Meek Mills, you at a Diddy party dressed in matching outfits. Women don't even do that no more, fam. And you got a midget between y'all legs? I knew you was strange when you was bunny hopping for them white boys. Man, come on out the closet, man. Come on.
Is that he's dressing like, he dressing the same he dressing like Diddy? Hugged up with Diddy?
What's up, King Son? Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, Daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you. Yeah.
When Jeffrey Epstein started showing up in places, white people started saying, hey, man, what is that guy? Who is he? What do he do? How did he become rich? Man, they started giving a pushback. There was never no pushback against Diddy, even with all the rumors of him killing Tupac. So I don't think Diddy just got something on the executive. He got something on everybody.
Right now, as Sean Diddy Combs finds himself at the center of one of the most high-profile federal trials in hip-hop history, a Philadelphia artist has decided he's had enough of staying silent. Meek Mill has finally spoken out, first through a series of raw, unfiltered social media posts, and then in a sit-down interview with Complex, addressing the wave of speculation that has surrounded his name for over a year. What makes his decision so significant isn't just what he said, but when and how he said it. The timing, the tone, and the questions raised by his words all point to something deeper about the environment he once shared with Diddy. This isn't just a simple denial. When you look at the bigger picture, Meek's response offers a glimpse into the culture of silence that has surrounded the Diddy case from the very beginning, who knew what, who was present, and who chose to stay completely quiet. Meek Mill, however, chose a different route. Before diving into his response, it's important to understand how his name even became part of the conversation, because one key detail was largely overlooked as people rushed to form opinions. Meek Mill was never directly named in any court documents, not even once. So what actually happened? Music producer Rodney Lil Rod Jones filed a civil lawsuit against Diddy. And within that filing, there was a vague reference claiming that Diddy had allegedly boasted about a personal encounter with a rapper described only as a Philadelphia artist who had dated Nicki Minaj. That single, unclear line was all it took for the internet to connect the dots on its own.
You understand? So I can imagine him play fighting with Lil Rod. Because, you know, a lot of people can say what they want to say about Diddy. You know, he got a knuckle game. He will fight you. You know what I'm saying? You his size, you understand? Around your size, something like that, he would fight you. He had a knuckle game. He wasn't that dude that, like, people try to say he was some old scared ass Nick. Nah, he would fight you. You understand? So I could see with a person like Lil Rod, he probably was roughing him up, grabbing him, groping him, you know what I'm saying? Acting like he playing with him, but he actually want him to do what he want him to do. So, like I said before, that's in the past. So when I read it from Lil Rod, I see he's doing the same shit in the future.
So he was doing this with females too back then when you was around.
Right. That's how him and Kim got into the fight, and he, you know, play fight. He used to play fight with the pillows, like the pillow fight, that dumb, that, you know, that's kids to me. But if that's the way they do, that's the way they do. You understand? He used to do it with Kim all the time.
So the horseplay was his way of grooming you in a sense.
Well, that grooming, that's some new, you know what I'm saying? We didn't call it grooming back then. That his horseplay was a way of letting you know I could really hurt you if I wanted to. You get it? I could really hurt you. And that's what that kid probably felt. Yo, why he doing me like that? Oh, he just playing with you. No, he was letting you know, if I turn this up, I could really hurt you.
And that was his way of trying to get you to be submissive to him.
Right. He's letting you know. He's putting into your mind, listen here, bro. He's trying to put in his mind, we're playing now. But if I really want to turn on you, it's on. You ain't got no wins. So that kid is feeling, yo, listen here. In his mind, if you read the documents, in his mind, he was so scared that When he went to other people in the camp and said, why did he treat me? Why did he doing this and doing that? They said, oh, he just playing with you because he love you. He like you. He was, no, he was trying to put that, instill that fear in you that he had in you. And he won.
Social media quickly picked up the description and ran with it. One blog after another amplified the narrative, and algorithms pushed the speculation even further. Within days, Meek Mill's name became tied to allegations that were never directly stated in the original court filing. When Meek finally addressed the situation publicly, he made one thing clear. The lawsuit was never about him, but the media environment turned it into his story. He also highlighted that parts of the lawsuit had already been dismissed, with the judge throwing out RICO, breach of contract, and emotional distress claims. While some aspects of the case remained active, that distinction is critical. There's a clear difference between being officially named in a federal case and becoming the subject of internet-driven assumptions. Meek's frustration, which he expressed openly, came from that exact gap between verified facts and the narrative being pushed online. When he eventually spoke in detail, he did so across two platforms: a series of posts on X in May 2025, followed by a more composed and formal interview with Complex, recorded in early June and released in July of the same year. Together, these moments provide the clearest insight into his position and what he was willing to say publicly. On social media, Meek was straightforward and visibly frustrated. He admitted that he had attended some of Diddy's events over the years, specifically mentioning New Year's parties, but he was equally clear about what he did not attend: the so-called white parties that have become a major focus in conversations about Diddy's circle. He also made a notable comment about the atmosphere at those events, stating that the most extreme thing he personally witnessed was the heavy presence of substances. He described it as something common at such gatherings, while making it clear that it was never his lifestyle and never something he was part of.
How do you feel about this Meek Mill and Diddy situation? Like Meek Mill, saying no Diddy and him getting backlash, people feeling like, he being fake because, he had a relationship with Diddy. Like, how you feel about that?
My man, I can't judge Meek Mill as a man. I don't know Meek Mill as a person. You understand? And if he wants to say no Diddy, no homo, no this, no that, that's his choice. I know a lot of Phillies dudes and they strong out there, and some of my people are cool with Meek Mill. You understand? People. Some of my people are cool with Meek Mill's people. Meek Mill was a young guy, and Diddy was an influencer, and he may have influenced a lot of things that Meek Mill got caught up in the game in. Brother, I don't know Meek Mill as a man. You understand? I know some of his people through my people who knows his people. If Meek Mills want to say no Diddy, if Meek Mills want to say no homo, I don't have a problem with Meek Mill doing that. Meek Mill got to deal with what he got to deal with based on the relationship him and Puff had. Dressing alike, being cozy, Puff calling him daddy, saying little innuendos to him. People are looking at that and saying Meek Mill is wrong for saying no Diddy. But you can't tell a man how to spend his money and how to make love to his wife or his Diddy. So, I don't know. I don't know, Mike. I just don't know.
Nah, I feel you, man. I get it, man. I see where you're coming from. But I got to ask you about this party, right, that Diddy threw for Meek Mill. You heard about how the owner, she came out saying that she found used condoms, lubricant, razor blades, powder, blood on the bed sheets. You heard about this?
No, what happened was is that Diddy had rented a mansion out for Meek Mill's birthday party, and he had rented it for like $25,000. I remember we rented one of Cher's mansion out, you know what I'm saying? And that's the day he had fired his cook, but that's a whole nother story. You know what I'm saying? It was me, Wolf, Mace, was Ock staying there? No, it was just me, Wolf, Mace, Puff, and there was one other person staying in the mansion. But anyway, long story short is that they came recently. This happened a long time ago, but they recently just made a statement that they found loads of cocaine. I wonder what they did with the cocaine, because they didn't turn it over to the police. They said they found loads of cocaine, razor blades. They said that the sheets were bloody, nasty. They found a whole lot of used condoms. And it was the Diddy party, giving in Meek Mill's honor for his birthday. I was like, yo, wow. They said it was disgusting the way that they left the place. So I know they got hit with another bill on top of that $25,000 and the different deposits they had to put down for cleanup and all this other stuff.
In the Complex interview, his tone shifted to something more controlled and analytical. He explained that he always traveled with a close circle from Philadelphia, never arrived alone, and avoided putting himself in environments that clashed with his personal values. He emphasized that people who truly know him have never seriously questioned his character or credibility. According to him, the public backlash was largely manufactured. He argued that what looked like widespread public opinion was, in his view, heavily driven by coordinated bots rather than real individuals with genuine concerns. One of the most consistent themes in everything Meek Mill said publicly went beyond just his own situation. He framed his experience as part of a broader, deliberate campaign targeting Black artists within the entertainment industry. This wasn't a one-off remark. He returned to it multiple times, making it clear that this is something he strongly believes.
You can't be that guy at the gay party getting mad at the gay dudes hitting on you.
Right.
You at they function. So now you gonna be homophobic in here?
What?
You the jerk right now. You the clown. You at they shit getting mad. They try to see what's to you. Yo, dumbass.
Give me a take on the flack that Meek Mill has gotten throughout all this. You know,
Meek Mill's situational awareness is just low, bro. Like, that's all it is. But the man had his Amazon account hooked to his Twitter. He buying dildos and everything. It's showing on his Twitter, bro.
you can't do that.
Look that up. That's real. He just crazy, bro. Like, that's all it is. Like, you know, I feel like Meek is an honorable dude. He just kind of, he just don't be up to speed a lot of times.
Is that audio real? Are you getting?
I don't know. That audio, I can't confirm that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because my thing is this, like, the feds announced that they have a video of Diddy on camera assaulting a male. You see what I'm saying? So, like, if they making these type of announcements, bro, if they had anything on Meek Mill, bro, like, that's everywhere. Because he just got out of jail and then got off of probation, got a judge fired and all type of things. Like, so it's people who want to see him look bad.
Right.
So if they had it, it'd be out.
Meek Mill's argument came down to this. Today's media environment makes it incredibly easy for a single vague and unverified claim to spread rapidly, getting picked up by multiple outlets before anyone even checks its validity. He described this as a kind of structural defamation, where by the time any correction appears, the damage to a person's reputation has already been done and is often impossible to fully undo. He pointed to how an accusation that was never mentioned in any court document still ended up being treated in some parts of the media as a credible rumor worth reporting. He also highlighted what he held as a troubling pattern, suggesting that this type of treatment often disproportionately targets Black men in hip-hop. At the same time, he made it clear that he was not claiming the case against Diddy was fabricated. Instead, he drew a firm line between the serious federal allegations involving Diddy and the separate wave of unverified speculation that pulled other names into the conversation. In his view, these were two completely different issues, and mixing them together served an agenda he found deeply concerning. Whether or not one agrees with his perspective, it is a viewpoint that calls for careful consideration rather than immediate dismissal. This is where Meek Mill's statements become particularly compelling, and it's also the part that much of the coverage didn't fully explore. He didn't just focus on defending himself, he shifted the conversation outward, raising a sharp and uncomfortable question. Why has everyone else remained so silent?
And they probably embarrassed for the fact to see that Meek Mill's, one of the street guys that came out of there, got caught up in this Hollywood, whereas that he's dressing like, he dressing the same, he dressing like Diddy, hugged up with Diddy. I think that Lil Rod know a lot of, but I know this. Two men dress alike, it's just like two men laying down. When they both get up, they both homos. And that's real talk, bruh. My man, you go to a party, dog, and the same shirt you got on, I'm taking my shirt off. I'm walking around in a t-shirt. And then, not to blow Meek Mill up out the water or anything like that, it was said that they checked his Google search and all the other and he was searching for some online gay porn and all that other
Oh, wow.
That shit is crazy, bro. But listen, those are what, you know, it's crazy that money, that lifestyle, and you trying to fit into something get you. These guys never set out to do all this. Meek Mills, when he got into the game, he didn't set out to be questioning about his manhood with Diddy. But he put himself in that position.
Meek Mill expressed clear frustration over the idea that if the events being discussed in the Diddy case were completely harmless, then it would make sense for others who attended them to come forward and say so openly. The fact that almost no one from Diddy's wider circle has publicly shared their own experiences stood out to him as highly questionable. He put it plainly, the silence of others, people who were present in those same spaces, was speaking volumes, whether they intended it to or not. This perspective carries a certain weight. It doesn't directly accuse anyone, but it does open the door to a broader discussion about what collective silence really means at a time when the entire network around a powerful figure is being examined in federal court. Meek's point was simple but pointed. If everything was truly above board, then speaking up wouldn't come at any real cost, so choosing to remain silent raises its own set of serious questions.
Milk. As far as I'm concerned, he Meek Milk. I ain't calling him Mill no more, that's milk. That's Meek Milk. Added to the honeycomb. You got a meal.
So you believe the Dwayne Martin story that could have happened?
Of course. Everybody know that shit. Everybody knew they was just ain't nobody know Dwayne was folding him over like that, taking him to Pound Town. And all these black running around marrying these sitting there convincing other women to go chase a fag. Go get you.
Yeah.
Look at my it isn't he? Can you imagine if he's told the truth about their relationships? I want you to meet my husband. He a fag. Would you like to come over? I'll make cookies.
Now, Jack, you know...
That's what these is doing. Hey, young man. Come on over. My husband just wants to touch you for a little while on camera. I promise you, you won't feel a thing. Sniff this.
Okay. So, Jack,
Really? You stand on red carpets with and you sell an image of lies. Then you influence the public and ask the public to covet and want your life. Who wants that? Who jealous of that? Bunch of whack too afraid to find a real man and real love. So you marry a for a Birkin bag and then turn your head while he's a bunch of kids. I don't feel sorry for none of you, bitch. Don't y'all sit around writing your books, telling your sob stories. He was a going in. You should have known he was gonna be a. You married that and made babies with it. Look at Nicki Minaj. You got and marrying level 3 spenders. And do you know since then, she done moved out. She don't live at the house they was living at no more. Kenneth there by herself. She literally got him a zoo. And she fills it with who don't mind rough.
Even so, Meek Mill raised this point in a way that also reflected back on himself by choosing to speak out. In doing so, he was implicitly holding himself to the same standard he was applying to others, and that level of consistency, regardless of how one views his overall stance, is worth noting. From here, the conversation moves beyond Meek Mill as an individual and connects to something much broader that has surrounded the Diddy case from the start. Legal analysts and commentators have often drawn comparisons between the federal case against Diddy and the well-known network tied to the late financier Jeffrey Epstein. Both situations involve allegations of powerful individuals using wealth, influence, and access to enable behavior that, at least to some extent, was known within a wider circle of people who remained silent for years. The so-called files, as they are often referred to in public discussions, revealed just how many individuals were linked to Epstein's world without most of them ever facing serious scrutiny. A similar pattern is now being discussed in relation to Diddy. Questions are being raised: who traveled, who attended, and who was aware? These are the kinds of questions prosecutors typically explore in large RICO and conspiracy cases, where responsibility can extend far beyond just the central figure.
Justin Bieber just came out and said that Diddy and Usher were drinking his blood in the form of adrenochrome. This is happening, y'all. The Epstein files is not just pedophilia. There's cannibalism in there. They're eating children. They're drinking blood. They're harvesting blood for adrenochrome. For those of you that still don't believe, I don't know where your mind is at, but you need to wake up because this has been happening. We've been telling you that this has been happening before the Epstein files were released. And after the Epstein files were released, some of y'all still don't believe it. And I don't know what's up with y'all. Wake up.
Now I see with Diddy, as soon as he sued that liquor company, Diageo, CNN dropped that video. He's a cheap dude. If he would have paid Cassie what she was owed for getting urinated on by the Punisher, that's crazy. You got a guy named the Punisher in the house with your wife? What's really going on? Now, he didn't pay her out. He ended up paying her $30 million. Innocence don't cost that much. So there you gotta think about it. Jeffrey's human trafficking, he gets arrested. They say he's unfit to stand trial. Harvey Weinstein beat 2 cases. They just now convicted him on something, but you don't see any of it in the news. He's somewhere at his house relaxing. Jeffrey Epstein, the files,
not there.
They were on her desk
Yeah.
one day, the next day they're not there. I know how this game goes because I've been a person people have called to fix situations. You know, I've been somebody who people will call it, look, we need this person to look very bad. How can you help us? How much are you gonna pay? Okay, this is what we can do. You feel me? There's been situations where politicians then pissed off people. They'll go out drinking on the town. They'll wake up with in their room passed out. they're gonna call me and tell me what's going on. I'm gonna charge them a fee, and then I'm gonna take that money and go feed families and all type of stuff. And then I'm gonna try to help them out with that situation because they play games like this. You know, something that always happens is if you start to press a celebrity about paternity tests, you might be going into the supermarket, come out, see a gun in your car. Now the police pulling up. Whose gun is this? Now you're going to jail. Those type of things happen. You feel me? So things get very dark in this line of work and in these topics because Diddy was arrested with defaced firearms, hardcore narcotics. His drug mule was arrested, getting on a private jet. These are all things that violate interstate commerce, federal RICO laws. None of these charges was brought up. How can you have defaced firearms, automatic rifles in New York, in your hotel, and no charges get pressed about that? So once I saw that, I say basically they trying to punish him. He thought he was bigger than the program. They want to let him know, like, look, you cannot beat us. Don't play with us. We're going to spank you on the wrist. You're going to sit in jail 5 or 6 years. We ain't going to give you life this time. But next time, you finna get life.
So the warning.
It's a warning. I knew it was gonna happen. That's why I said I'm about to leave. Because I promised my mom I wouldn't be violent no more. Yeah.
Viewed in this context, Meek's comments fit into a broader pattern of individuals within the entertainment industry being pushed to confront their proximity to power that may not have been what it seemed on the surface. His choice to speak out proactively, instead of waiting to be questioned, reflects the kind of careful calculation others in similar positions are likely making behind the scenes. In federal conspiracy cases, as legal experts often point out, the reach of co-conspirator liability can extend much further than expected, sometimes pulling in individuals who assumed their distance was enough to keep them unaffected.
I would be bodyguarding somebody else and end up at some of his parties. They keep lying and say I work for him. I never said I work for him. That's something that these people do.
Yes.
So they got me in a lawsuit right now saying I pointed a gun at Diddy and protected the lady from him. How am I doing that and working for him? It don't make no sense. So like I've been having a lot of attacks, people trying to discredit me, but I got the receipts. And been a lot of punishment going on. No pun intended.
Yes.
No pun intended. Crazy work. So yeah, I knew it was coming. So I was like, pause. I knew that was going to take place. So I was like, I probably should leave. Because it's like, my mom told me she wanted me to eventually, settle down, have a family, have some children. It's hard to date in this line of work. I never really had many serious relationships. I only had 5 girlfriends my whole life. I don't have no children. I dedicated my life to my path and it paid off for me. And I'm not damaged, I'm a gentleman at all times, until it's time, Chivalry has not died. So it's just like, I'm gonna keep doing what I do. But when it comes to this, people gotta always pay attention to the underlying facts. Because if Lynn gets caught with several rifles and cocaine and drugs, Lynn's gonna be having to go to jail.
Yes.
How come he not going to jail?
Let's take a closer look at what Meek Mill actually achieved by speaking out the way he did, because the strategic side of this deserves real attention. By coming forward early and speaking openly, especially through a major publication while the trial was still ongoing, he positioned himself clearly as someone choosing transparency over calculated silence. Whether his account is fully accurate is something only he and those present can truly confirm, but the difference in perception between speaking up and staying quiet is significant. He also introduced a deeply personal and emotional point that resonated with many: his teenage son having to deal with the rumors surrounding his father at school. That isn't a legal defense. It's a human one. It shifted the conversation beyond strategy or image management and grounded it in something more personal. A parent watching their child struggle with a distorted public narrative has a motivation that goes far beyond simple damage control. Meek went even further by stating he was willing to fund a private investigation, reportedly offering a substantial amount to identify those behind what he believed was a coordinated online campaign targeting him. Whether that investigation led to concrete results remains unclear, but the announcement alone sent a strong message that he intended to actively confront the situation rather than quietly endure it. In the court of public opinion, that kind of stance is often perceived very differently from silent avoidance.
Jeffrey Epstein's island list. Homie Chris Tucker name on there. There's a bunch of people name on there. But isn't it ironic that they giving us all the details about Puffy and then give us no details about Jeffrey Epstein? So, homie, I just want to remind people, as humble and as meek and righteous you think your favorite celebrity is, they exist in an evil world. And for them to maintain in that world, they have to be okay with evil things. Whether it's T.I., man, you have to be okay with evil things because you don't get this high. Religious people have always said that evil things and evil high power of principalities exist in high places. Evil exists in high places, huh? How do you think he could do that for so long? And now you got videos of later of him coming out saying, man, they might arrest me for these kind of motherfuckers. Because most evil things is in plain sight. We just don't know what to look for. But I'm gonna say this. He ain't been accused of fucking no babies. So fuck what he did to them people. Because I know it wasn't a freak off. It was a big orgy that they was having. And how you go fuck because I'm a rich and I got these hoes coming in from Texas and they go come to New York and they go but yeah, them hoes want some money for me to how you go hit me with man, I'm getting these hoes something for that pussy. These ain't prostitute. It's a fair exchange. I'm a rich man. Every pussy I get, I got to fly in from another state and be willing to give them something. Man, this the part of the rich and famous life.
There are things Meek Mill explicitly said, and then there are the implications that sit just beneath the surface of his words. Both are worth paying attention to. When he described the atmosphere at Diddy's events, he wasn't portraying casual social gatherings. He was referring to environments where heavy substance use was, by his account, widespread and normalized, where social dynamics were shaped by Diddy's influence and the level of access he controlled, and where, importantly, Meek himself made a point of never attending alone. That detail stands out. A man who repeatedly emphasized that he always arrived with a close group from Philadelphia, 3 or 4 people, suggests someone who understood, at least instinctively, that those spaces required caution or protection. That isn't the behavior of someone completely at ease. It reflects someone consciously or unconsciously managing risk. His remark about certain individuals remaining completely silent also adds another layer. The people who have not spoken publicly in relation to the Diddy proceedings represent, for many observers, one of the most significant unanswered aspects of the story still unfolding. The federal trial itself does not close the broader scope of scrutiny. In raw ICO cases especially, investigations often expand over time as new cooperators emerge, plea agreements are made, and prosecutors gradually build a clearer picture of the alleged network. Viewed in that context, Meek Mill's decision to speak openly and on record may end up being one of the more notable moves made by anyone connected to Diddy's wider circle.
It's people that went to Diddy parties but never went to the after party.
2 pair of funky lips will say anything. Well, they know what's at the after party. You never heard nobody speak on nothing. Why have they been silent for so long?
It's a lot of hearsay about what goes on.
That's what I'm saying. It's been hearsay. Why did it take the FBI, the government, to come in and say, man, we know he's been doing this. Here's what we got. When there's been hearsay about it all this time and all these years. He's been shielded by them, homie. They never shied away from him. They know he's been beating up Kim Porter. They know he's been torturing Cassie. They know he's been doing it. So why nobody ever shied away from him?
Because he's CEOs that's keeping great relationships.
Man, somebody wrote a book.
All these CEOs are going to his parties. That's how he's keeping the leverage.
How you know?
I read the book.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say with some specifics. How you done told you this? Yeah, you know.
Allegedly.
Oh, okay. It sounds about right. But he CEO and he also an artist. The other celebrities. You not getting invited to the party. Remember they say you got to tell him no. You got to tell Diddy no, remember? So Tyrese said, I'm not going to the after party. Man, they all been to the after party. You mean to tell me when you first became a star and didn't nobody know who you were and you was trying to get in, you didn't go to the party? You got to keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, nobody have pushed back against this culture that Diddy supposed to have created for us in the black entertainment world. There's been no pushback against him. When Jeffrey Epstein started showing up in places, white people started saying, hey man, what is that guy? Who is he? What do he do? How did he become rich? Man, they started giving a pushback. There was never no pushback against Diddy.
What we have here is a story that, on the surface, looks like one rapper distancing himself from another rapper's legal troubles. But when you sit with the details, it becomes something far more layered. Meek Mill did not simply deny involvement. He raised broader structural questions about media accountability, the silence of influential figures, and the way allegations travel through online ecosystems with almost no resistance. He also touched on what it means to be a black man in the entertainment industry, where narratives can often move faster than verified facts. The Diddy case itself remains one of the most significant legal proceedings the music industry has ever faced, and it is still far from over. New names continue to surface, and testimonies continue to emerge. The network surrounding Diddy is extensive, and the federal system has both the tools and the motivation to keep following every possible thread. Meek Mill chose to speak, many others have not. And in a case of this scale, where federal prosecutors are actively examining who knew what and when, one question continues to linger long after the conversation ends. Among all those who have remained silent, how many are truly at peace with that decision? Let us know what you think in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an update. And until next time, keep it real.